We are keeping the supplemental health plans. These are your accident, critical illness, and hospital indemnity with Cigna. The life insurance is going to stay with Mutual of Omaha, and the health savings account and flexible spending account, there's going to be no change. You're going to remain with Rippling. So as I mentioned, open enrollment is your once-a-year opportunity to evaluate the plans and make a change to the plans that you're enrolled in. Outside of open enrollment, the only time that you can make a change to your plan is if you experience a qualifying life event. That would be a marriage, a divorce, a birth, adoption. Those things would allow you to make a change to your plan, and you only have 30 days from the date of event in order to make that election. So if you should have a qualifying life event, you get married in April, don't wait until July or August to add your spouse if that was your intention, because you'll be outside that 30-day window and you'll have to wait until the next open enrollment. All right, so we're going to dive into the medical. I want to start off with talking about CareFirst a little bit. CareFirst has a plan called Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. So when you're going into CareFirst to search for a provider, always make sure that you're selecting the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. The 2.0 is going to do all of the work for you. So these 3 boxes that you see below, you don't have to worry about where you live. If you're in West Virginia, you're going to plug in, I want to find a doctor that's in the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. They're going to pull up the correct network of where you're going to search for your providers. If you're in the local, I'll say the DMV area, so if you live in Maryland, if you live in DC or Northern Virginia, when you put in the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0, it's going to pull up the Blue Choice network. That's going to be your in-network avenue to search for providers. If you're outside of those areas, if you're in Southern Virginia, if you're in Florida, if you're just in Southern Virginia, they're going to pull up what's called Health Keepers POS. But again, this is all something that happens behind the scenes. Then if you're in Florida or Texas or California, they're going to pull up the Blue PPO, which is a Blue Card network. You'll still have access to Blue PPO if you are outside of the Virginia, Maryland, DC area. However, we just want to make sure that when you're searching for provider, it's going to go by the zip code and it's going to go by the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. So when you're out there, there is also Blue Choice Advantage, right? And then there's a Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. Make sure you're always selecting that 2.0. That's going to be super important because it'll do the work for you. We also ask, when you do make your appointment, just re-verify with the provider that they accept the Blue Choice Advantage. Because we are switching prescriptions, there is not a interconnectivity between the carriers. So you might currently have a prescription that required prior authorization with Cigna. We have given the formulary listing, the prescription drug listing, over to the HR team, and hopefully they have it posted for you. Go out and check that formulary. Check to see if your prescription requires prior authorization. You're going to want to reach out to your provider and let them know that you're changing insurance carriers. They're going to have to do that prior authorization process all over again if that prescription drug requires prior authorization under CareFirst, and most likely it will. Most of the carriers are pretty in sync when it comes to the prior authorization on which prescription drugs. We also want to make sure that your prescription drug, maybe it has a quantity limit or step therapy. Again, you're going to want to have that conversation with your provider, let them know that your insurance is changing. Once CareFirst receives the open enrollment file, it'll take them a couple of days, and they're going to spit out a list, and they're going to let Donna know that that list is available. At that point in time, the HR team will let you know that you can go out and you can create your My Account. And once you're out on the My Account, you can download a copy of your ID card, and you can take that and hand it to your pharmacy and hand it to your doctor's office and let them know to start the prior authorization process on June 1st. Also, if you have an upcoming surgery, again, maybe you have a surgery that's scheduled for sometime in June or maybe July. Let the provider know. ahead of time that you're changing insurance carriers. Also, if you're not sure if your provider, it might be approved under Cigna, but you know you need a prior authorization for the inpatient stay or maybe whatever procedure you're getting, just double check with the Care First team, the customer care team, and then we'll help you with getting connected with a nurse advocate, if so be, to help you channel through that prior authorization process and make sure that your future surgery is there's going to be no hiccups along the way. So a lot of information I know I'm throwing at you. Just remember, if you're taking a prescription, double check the formulary, see if it requires prior authorization. Have that conversation with your provider soon. Let them know that your insurance is changing as of June 1st so that you don't run into any hiccups. You're not standing at the pharmacy come June 2nd trying to pick up your prescription and finding out that it's being held up. This slide highlights the 3 medical plans that are available to you. The first plan is a high deductible health plan that's paired with a health savings account. There's the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0 base plan, and then there's the buy-up plan. The plan designs are almost identical to what you currently had under Cigna, with a few little minor tweaks here and there. We tried to match the plans with Care First plans as closely as possible. With a high deductible health plan that's tied to the health savings account, you do have to meet that full medical deductible before the insurance carrier will start paying a portion of your claim. Good thing, Care First also has some tools, just like Cigna had tools. They also have a treatment estimator tool that you can plug in if you need to get an MRI. You can go out to your My Account under Care First. You can plug in MRI, and they're going to show you all the different facilities and the costs associated with an MRI, so that you know that you can go and get the service done at a place that's going to cost you the least amount while you're still in that deductible phase. Once you meet your deductible under the Blue Choice Advantage 2.0, if you're an individual, you're an employee only, then you're going to start paying a $30 copay. If you're on a family plan, so you cover you and your spouse, you and your children, or your entire family, then you have to meet that $4,000 deductible before the insurance carrier will kick in. But then you'll start paying your copays based on your place of service, which is associated right here on this slide. The Blue Choice, the base plan and the buy-up plan, these are not tied to a health savings account, so that deductible is only going to apply to certain services like inpatient hospitalization, an emergency room, an outpatient surgical center for the base plan. Outside of that, you're going to pay your copay when you go for urgent care or to see your doctor or physical therapy, chiropractors, things like that. The most important line in this slide to review is this out-of-pocket maximum. This is the amount that's going to cap your expenses for the plan year. So if you end up having a catastrophic year and you're enrolled in the Blue Choice in the high deductible plan as employee only, your expenses are going to be capped at $4,000. That includes prescription and medical. Once you hit that $4,000, as long as you're in network, all of your claims will be covered at 100% because you've reached your max. Same thing for the base plan, $4,500 for an individual or $9,000 for a family, and then the buy-up plan is $2,000, where it's going to cap your expenses, or $4,000. This slide highlights the prescription drug copays that are associated with the 3 medical plans. With the high deductible plan, again, you have to meet that full medical deductible before you start paying your copays for your individual prescriptions. Care First also has a prescription drug tool that you can also type in, and you can look and price out how much it's going to cost you at various pharmacies. No 2 pharmacies are going to charge you the same because it's going to be based off of their negotiations with the carrier. So make sure you shop around. Maybe you normally go and get your prescriptions at a CVS or at Walgreens. Just double check, because there could be Costco or Sam's Club or Target or somewhere else that may be cheaper.
Sure.
Outside of the HSA, for those of you in the base plan and the buy-up plan, you're just going to pay your copay right at point of sale for your generic, preferred, and non-preferred. And then Care First also has preferred and non-preferred specialty drug tiers, where you're going to pay 50% of the drug up to $100 maximum for preferred specialty. And then we didn't list it here, but for the non-preferred specialty, you'll pay up 50% up to $150. So the max copay that you'll pay will be $150 copay or $100. If you take a maintenance medication, you can do that through the retail pharmacy, or you can do it through home delivery, and it'll require just 2 copays instead of 3 for a 90-day supply. We want to encourage everybody to go and get your annual routine physical every year. Knowing how your body changes year over year could help stave off a catastrophic condition. Catching conditions early, one, can help prolong your life and help minimize the amount of costs of your treatment of your care. So we really recommend that you go get your annual physical, go get your age-appropriate screenings, whether it be a mammogram, a colonoscopy. Just make sure you're going out and you're getting those based on your age. They have lowered the colonoscopy age. So for those of you that are approaching that age, make sure you're going in, having that conversation with your provider. You can go and have a colonoscopy. There's also Cologuard that you can do. So other avenues for you to do the testing. And then we all know we're really good about taking our children, but make sure their immunizations are up to date, including yourself as well. So we always like to remind you where you go matters. This slide highlights the various ways of where you can seek care if you're sick or hurt. Just know that each one is going to cost you slightly different than the other. I'm going to start out at the bottom. Emergency room is going to be your place for a life-threatening condition. Car accident, you think you're having a heart attack, maybe you are having difficulty breathing, anything that you think that could possibly be a life-threatening, we want you to go to the emergency room, go get treated immediately as soon as possible. But that's going to cost, the emergency room is going to cost you the most. It's going to be the more expensive copay, and it's also going to have a higher wait times than the others. If you feel like you have a sinus infection, maybe you have food poisoning, stomach bug, maybe you fell and sprained your wrist, you can go to urgent care. They can treat you for all of those conditions, for allergies, things like that. That's going to be a less of a copay than the emergency room. And again, they can treat some minor sprains and some minor breaks and things like that. They can also do some stitches and things. Then you have your convenience care. Convenience care is going to be your CVS Minute Clinic, Target, Walgreens. Wegmans has a Minute Clinic where they can do flu shots and some vaccinations. So definitely check out the convenience care clinics. They're great for when you're shopping and maybe your child has been complaining of a stomach ache. You can go in and you can see a nurse practitioner. And then if a prescription is required, they'll have a physician come and sign off on that. And then you can pick up your prescription while you're shopping. Your primary care physician, we all know that they're difficult to get into. However, we still want you to get in and make that appointment, have that connection with them. They're going to understand you. They know your history. It's also good to go and get your annual physical every year. So we want to make sure that you're reminded to make sure that you have somebody. You don't have to designate a primary care physician, but make sure that you have somebody that you go to on a regular basis so they can help coordinate care when needed. Then you have the 24-hour nurse line. I think this is very underutilized, but you should try calling it, especially if your child wakes up in the middle of the night with a stomach ache. You can call them and they're gonna talk to you. It's a nurse on the other end. They're gonna ask about all the symptoms. And it's free of charge, and they're going to tell you whether you need to run to the emergency room, whether you can wait until urgent care is open, or whether you should try doing a virtual care visit if you really need to get with a doctor. It could be something simple as, if it's a young child under a certain age, maybe they can help you with cold compress for a rash or things like that. So definitely useful and very helpful, that nurse line. And then lastly, CareFirst calls their virtual care network CloseKnit, where they partner with a company called CloseKnit that provides you the virtual care. And we're going to dive into that here in a second. This is where you're going to access them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do it from your pajamas right in your bed, at the comfort of your tablet or your phone, your computer, whatever is most convenient for you. All right, so as soon as you are provided with your ID number, you can go out and you can create My Account. Here's where you're going to search for provider, for hospital, facility. You can do the treatment cost estimator that I mentioned earlier. You can search for your claim status to see where you're at. If you're in the high deductible plan, you can also check the status of your deductible, see how much, maybe you think that you've spent your entire deductible, but maybe a claim hasn't processed yet. So it's always good to know that. You can order new ID cards. Maybe you need extra ID cards and you only received one to your household. And then you're also going to be able to access all of the tools and resources that CareFirst provides to you. So definitely helpful. Make sure that you sign up for your My Account, because this is where you're going to manage all of your health insurance. So a little bit more about Close-Knit. With Close-Knit, you can do not just urgent care. So if your child's sick in the middle of the night and you can't get to the doctor, you can call them and do a video visit. You can also do things like nutritional services, so you can reach a nutritional counselor if you need help with maybe you're currently going through cancer treatment and maybe you just need some help with nutrition to help manage some of the symptoms, whether you're a new parent and need some lactation services, or you can also get your annual physical done through virtual care. They're still going to send you out to get the labs. They'll send you to a lab that's associated with CareFirst. And then lastly, mental health services. So we all know that it's difficult to get in to see a psychiatrist or psychologist these days. However, you can get in to see a therapist using the Close-Knit, and you can schedule a virtual visit at your convenience when it's comfortable for you at the place of your choice. So just know that you have a lot of services available to you virtually through Close-Knit. CareFirst also has what they call a Blue Rewards incentive program. They want to reward you just for taking a few small actions, whether it's selecting a primary care physician and completing a health screening, or whether it's taking the real age assessment and consenting to receive wellness emails. You can also participate in health coaching. Maybe it's been a couple of months and you want to retake the real age because maybe you've lost some weight, you've been doing some exercise, you've improved your health. You can go ahead and take the real age test again. Each one of these is going to have a dollar value associated to it, and they'll send you a gift card with that amount on it once you've completed the task. CareFirst, these are just a couple small a small snapshot of some of the services they have available to you. They have health coaching where you can get one-on-one coaching. They have weight management. They have a lot of digital tools. We're going to talk about one of those here shortly. If you're trying to quit tobacco, and then as well as financial being. They also have, and again, we didn't highlight it, they're connected with a company called Sword Health, where you can do virtual physical therapy. They're going to send you a kit at home. They'll have schedule weekly calls with you where they're going to give you some exercises to do at home, and that way it saves you from having to leave work in the middle of the day to go to a physical therapy appointment and things like that. So really nice service that they have available to you. And again, this is just a small subset. We just wanted to highlight a few things. All right, so for those of you that maybe are considering wanting to lose weight, or maybe there's just maybe 5 or 10 more pounds that you want to lose to get back to the weight that you prefer, you have access to Noom. And again, this is free of charge. It's an app that you're going to download. You have to go through CareFirst. Make sure you go through, once you sign onto your account, go through the CareFirst Wellbeing. In order to, don't go directly to Noom, make sure you go through CareFirst, so that way it's free of charge. And then you set up the account, and it's going to be all digital based on how you answer the questions. They're going to set up a program to help you lose that last little 5 or 10 pounds, or whatever your situation is. Maybe you have you just want to change your habits. Noom is a great way and a great digital tool for you to use. And then with CareFirst, you also have access to the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association's Blue 365, which is a network of discounts that are available to you, whether it's for workout gear or maybe it's a trip. Take a look. They're constantly changing their what they have out there, so take a look. you can save on a whole host of things, including hearing aids and LASIK and things like that. All right, so we've done a lot on the medical. We're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the dental plan. The dental plan is moving over to CareFirst's Blue Dental Plus network. So when you're looking for a dentist, you're going to want to make sure that you plug in Blue Dental Plus as the network to search to make sure you get up the right network. But this is their largest network that they have. It will provide you access to a dentist wherever you are in the country. You have a choice of 2 plans. One is a base plan, the other one is a buy-up plan. The base plan is going to give you $2,000 to spend towards your dental services in the plan year. It's going to cover things like your annual cleanings and your x-rays, fluoride. It's going to cover your oral surgery, fillings, crowns, inlays, onlays. But again, $2,000 is the max that the insurance carrier will pay towards your dental services. Anything over that will be your responsibility. With the buy-up plan, it gives you $3,000 towards your benefit maximum, and then it also covers orthodontia for children up until they turn 19. So if you have children that are currently getting ready to go through braces, this is maybe you want to consider the buy-up plan. And then the vision plan is moving over to CareFirst Blue Vision Network. This is going to help you offset the cost of contacts and eyeglasses and a routine eye exam. So for a routine eye exam, you're going to pay a $10 copay. For the lenses that you put into your frames, it's going to be a $20 copay for the bare bones lenses. Anything additional you have done to the lenses will be at a discount, but it will be an additional charge. Frames, you're going to get up to $130 allowance, and then you're also going to get 20% off the balance if you end up going over the allowance. And then elective contact lenses, they're going to give you a $130 allowance towards your contact lenses, and again, 15% off the balance. You can get a pair of lenses for your glasses once every 12 months, or contact lenses once every 12 months, but not both. So if you haven't filled your prescription eyeglasses or your contact lenses in more than 12 months with Cigna, go ahead and do that now, because the clock for the CareFirst plan will start the minute you submit a claim. So if you submit a claim in June, you're going to have to wait until the following June in order to get another set of contacts. So I always tell people that, if your 12 months is up with Cigna, go ahead and get your contacts with them, or your set of glasses with them, so that you can turn around and get another pair in June. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about health savings account. This plan is tied to the high deductible plan. You do have to be enrolled in the Blue Choice Advantage high deductible plan in order to open up a health savings account. But with a health savings account, if you talk to any financial planner out there, they're going to tell you the number one savings vehicle for the future is a health savings account, because it's a triple tax savings vehicle. The money that you put in is taken out of, you do it through payroll deductions, is going to be done pre-tax. It's going to sit and earn interest pre-taxed, and then you don't get taxed on it if you withdraw the funds to help pay for your medical, dental, and vision expenses. So as long as you're using it for qualified expenses, you're not going to get taxed on those funds, and you can let those funds sit there and roll over. It is a bank account that you own. It is not something that's owned by a spouse. So if you end up getting divorced, the spouse has no access to this money. It's your account. You take it with you if you leave Concept Plus, and then you can just spend down the funds until you have no funds left. But again, great savings vehicle for the future. The IRS does have a few rules. You do have to be enrolled in a qualified high deductible plan. You cannot be claimed as a dependent on anybody else's tax return. You cannot be enrolled in another traditional plan. So if your spouse covers you on their plan and it's a PPO or an HMO, maybe it's another Cigna plan, Open Access Plus, or another United Healthcare would be a Choice Plus plan. If it's not a high deductible plan, it's going to disqualify you with the IRS from opening up that health savings account. And then you cannot be enrolled in Medicare or TRICARE. So just a couple of rules there. The IRS sets the annual limit every year at $4,400 for 2026 for an individual. And then if you're enrolled in the employee plus spouse, child, or family tiers, you can put away up to $8,750. This is calendar year. I know our benefits run from June 1st into May 31st. However, the HSA limits are on calendar year. So if you want to maximize out your account, you can maximize out up until December 31st. You can maximize out for these amounts listed here, and then it'll be increased again for next year. Flexible spending account. This is also with Rippling. Make sure if you are currently enrolled in a flexible spending account and you want to carry that over to the next plan year, that you go in and select that during open enrollment. The amounts has increased. So for the healthcare FSA, you can enroll up to $3,400 to help pay for your qualified medical, dental, vision expenses. You cannot use it for cosmetic things. So teeth whitening, any kind of cosmetic surgery, those are going to be exclusions. If you're enrolled in the high deductible plan and you already have an HSA account open, you can take out what's called a limited purpose FSA to be used for dental and vision. You do have to meet your full deductible before you'll be able to use it towards any kind of medical expenses. So just be careful when you're making your election for the limited purpose FSA. With the healthcare and the limited purpose FSA comes a carryover provision. So your plan ends on May 31st. You have 90 days to submit claims towards your current plan year. At the 90th day, which is roughly around August, once that 90 days is up, Rippling will then roll over any balance that you have up to $660. For dependent care is increased to $7,500. So if you and your spouse each have a dependent care account, you can split that $7,500. You each can do half. So you can put that money away for eligible daycare expenses for your children that are under the age of 13. It can be for before and after school care. It can be for a daycare facility. It can be for an in-home daycare. Just make sure that if it's for an in-home daycare that they provide you with a tax ID or their social security number, because that's what's required when you file your taxes. Just want to make sure that you know that dependent care is not for medical expenses for your dependents. It is just strictly for daycare. Supplemental health plan, we rolled these out last year. You have access to accident, critical illness, and hospital indemnity. Nobody plans on tripping and falling and breaking their elbow, end up having to take an ambulance, end up in emergency room care, have x-rays, end up with a cast or a sling. All those things would be covered under the accident insurance, whether it be the ambulance or the emergency room, x-ray. Each one of those items has a dollar value associated with it. So if you're enrolled in the accident insurance, you're going to receive a check, and it's going to come out post-tax. So because you're going to pay for the premiums post-tax, you've already been taxed on what your premiums. They're not going to tax you on the check that you get. You can use that check to pay for, however you wish. These are policies that are going to pay you just because an event occurred. So just keep that in mind. Maybe you have a child that plays sports, and we all know that children are going to get hurt. Maybe you should have an accident insurance policy and enroll your family in that. Critical illness, maybe you have a history of cancer in your family, or let's say you have a history of MS in your family. I highly recommend that you have a critical illness insurance policy. These are lump sum amounts that you're going to receive, whether you enroll in $10,000 or $20,000. You select that amount, and then you pay the premium based on it's age banded, so it's going to be based off of your age. And then make sure you can enroll your family as well. And then if something happens, you end up getting diagnosed with one of those, you can submit a claim and you'll receive a lump sum check of $10,000 or $20,000. Again, how you spend that money is going to be up to you. We all know that, getting cancer or MS. These are really debilitating diseases. For one, could take you out of work. It can you're going to have high medical bills. So this is a nice policy to help out just in case something should happen, especially if you have a history of it in your family. And then lastly, hospital indemnity insurance. Maybe you are currently family planning and plan to have a child in the future, or maybe you have an upcoming surgery this summer. Highly recommend the hospital indemnity insurance because they're going to pay you a dollar amount just because you were hospitalized for more than 24 hours. And then they're going to pay you a dollar amount based on how many days you were actually in the hospital. And then if you ended up being in ICU, again, it's going to be an additional amount that they're going to pay you. So hospital indemnity insurance is nice, especially if you already have a planned inpatient hospitalization coming up, or maybe you're planning on having a child here sometime soon. All Concept Plus employees are provided with a basic life insurance policy in the amount that's 1 times your annual earnings up to a maximum of $100,000. As I mentioned at the beginning, please make sure your beneficiary information is up to date. We want to make sure that your wishes are granted should something happen to you. You also have an opportunity to enroll in supplemental life insurance. If you're a new hire, you can enroll right up to $100,000 without having to complete a medical questionnaire. However, during open enrollment, you can enroll up to $10,000. You can increase your election by $10,000 as long as you don't go over that $100,000 without having to complete a medical questionnaire. Anything more than a $10,000 increase to your election, or if you go over the guaranteed issue amount of $100,000, you do have to complete a medical questionnaire and then wait for the insurance carrier to review it and approve. But for yourself, you can enroll up to $500,000. You can enroll a policy for your spouse up to $250,000, and then for your children, it's a flat $10,000. Just make sure that you have a policy for yourself in order to enroll for your spouse and your children. You also are provided automatically with short-term and long-term disability. These are income replacement plans. These are going to replace a portion of your income while you're out due to an illness or an accident. Short-term disability, you have a 14-day waiting period. So the first 2 weeks of when you are deemed disabled, and we say deemed disabled, but you're out due to an accident or an illness, and that's between you and your provider and the claims person is when they determine the start date. You're out for 14 days. 14 days is after the 14th day on day 15, then your benefit's going to kick in. You'll receive 60% of your weekly salary up to a maximum of $1,000 per week. If you're still disabled at the end of 90 days, so it's 2 weeks of a waiting period and then 11 weeks of potential payment, so it's about 13 weeks, then long-term disability would kick in, and you would receive 60% of your monthly earnings up to a maximum of $5,000 per month. You remain in long-term disability as long as you're still deemed disabled or until you reach Social Security normal retirement age. Mutual of Omaha provides you a free employee assistance program where you can get confidential services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Maybe you're struggling with a work-life balance. Maybe you recently lost a loved one and you're really struggling and just need to talk to somebody. You can reach out to them for tools to help you prepare a will, or maybe you need to look at their legal library for online forms, maybe a landlord agreement, things of that nature. Reach out to them. They can help guide you and direct you. They can also help you out with something simple as you're getting ready to go on vacation and your pet sitter fell through and you don't know where to turn. Reach out to them. They can try to help point you to some other services available. So they're available to you and to your household. You just have to tell them that you're an employee of Concept Plus. They're not going to ask any other questions. None of this is tracked. So we can't even get a utilization. I couldn't even get a generic utilization. But just know that you do have this free of charge to you. You can reach out to them and seek professional help. Mutual of Omaha also provides you with worldwide travel assistance. So if you're traveling any more than 100 miles away from your home, take this phone number with you. If something happens, you land, let's say you go to Cancun for vacation and you land and your luggage doesn't land with you, you don't want to spend your vacation, or at least the first half of your vacation, trying to track down your luggage. Give them a call, let them know. They're going to work with the airlines to help locate your luggage and get it delivered to your hotel so that you can enjoy your vacation. They're also helpful, especially if maybe you had medication in that luggage, or a set of glasses that you need in order to read, or whatever, you didn't have it in your carry-on. Again, they're going to work with you, help get a replacement prescription. If you lose your passport, they're going to point you to services that can help replace the passport. So definitely nice service to have that's available, and it's free of charge. All right, a lot about your benefits. We're going to go through the premiums rates pretty quickly. I'm just going to highlight the medical ones real quickly here. This is going to show you the high deductible plan is in this first column. The base plan is in this column, and then the buy-up plan. We show you your per payroll amounts up here, and then down here we're going to show you what the annual cost will be,
Нихуя себе.
depending on which option that you choose.
Cost of $500 a check.
The slide is the dental and the vision. Again, here's your base plan, your buy-up plan, and then the vision is over here. Down here is the accident hospital. These slides will be available to you afterwards. I'm going to skip through the rest because these are the critical illness, and get to the valuable resources. So, should you have questions, not just now, but anytime throughout the year, we want you to know that you have the Benefit Resource Center that's available to you. They're USI employees that sit up in Connecticut. They're ready and waiting to take your call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can also, you can also email them a question, and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. But you can reach out to them for anything from, I'm changing insurance carriers and I'm not sure if my prescription is covered. Can you help me find that out? They'll pull up the formulary, and you can work with them on that, and they can read the formulary. To, I keep receiving an invoice from my provider telling me, this for this charge, and I really don't understand it, or I keep receiving a denial from whether it be Cigna or Care First. I don't understand it. Give them a call. They're your benefit advocate. They're going to help work with you directly to help resolve your claim, and they're going to stay with you throughout the life of your claim. So once you call in and you get a person, that person's going to work with you for the remainder until your issue is resolved. You can also call them for something as simple as here's my situation, I'm getting married, is this considered a qualifying life event? They're there to help you, and they want to be your advocate. USI has a benefit mobile app just like everybody else. You can download the mobile app at your favorite store. It's called My Benefits to Go. And once you download it, you're going to enter in the code that you see at the bottom of the screen. This is also in the benefit guide. It's not sophisticated, but what it does is it houses all of the benefit summaries, the benefit guide, and we'll also have a Brain Shark, which is a pre-recorded presentation that walks you through all of the benefits so that you have access right at your fingertips on your phone. It also has all of the contact information for all the carriers and the Benefit Resource Center. So it's just a nice app to have, especially if you're away from your computer. Maybe you don't have a Rippling app on your phone and you forgot who the new insurance carrier is. You can go out to the mobile app and pull that up. And it also has all the benefit summaries will be out there. This app is not updated as of yet. It will be before June 1st. We're just waiting on a couple pieces of information from Care First before we can get the app fully up to speed. All right, I saw a lot of comments going back and forth. I saw some being answered. Want to open up the floor for any questions that you all may have.
Hey, Kristen, I've been monitoring the chat. Hi, all. My name's Nicholas Amato from USI. I've been the one in the chat answering the questions. Donna, this might be a payroll question for you. If someone went in and selected the max FSA amount, how do you run that between 2026 and 2027?
It would be based on the plan year. So it would be, if they elected in the FSA and selected an amount for the year, it would run from June 1st through the end of next May.
John, do you want to go ahead and answer? Take yourself off mute.
Yeah, thanks. So I understand this is with regards to the pharmacy. I understand that the copay would be the same after hitting the deductible. But I also know that there's like some offsets, like adjustments that the insurance does based on the negotiations with the pharmacy. So prior to hitting the deductible, is there like a difference in what pharmacies will charge based off of negotiations with the insurance, and does that differ from region to region for major retailers like Walgreens or CVS, or would that negotiation be statewide or national consistent?
Yep, great question. So just to reiterate, you're talking about the high deductible plan. So if you're enrolled in the high deductible plan, you know you have that deductible that has to be met. The negotiations are going to vary by region. So it's not going to be. It could be it's going to be different based on from Walgreens to Walmart to Target, CVS. They all have different negotiations. Everything's done behind the scenes. It's nothing that we can see. But the best tool that you will have is going through my account and going to the pharmacy cost treatment estimator. So once you have your account set up, it's the same thing as Cigna. So Cigna also has the price comparison tool for prescriptions. CareFirst has the same thing where you can plug in the name of the prescription and it's going to spit out all of the places of where you can go from cheapest to most expensive, and they're going to tell you what the negotiated price would be based off of the information that you put in. So that's going to be the best thing. And I highly recommend that you shop around. Maybe you're used to going to CVS all the time to get your prescriptions, but Walgreens might have the cheaper for one of your prescriptions, or maybe Walmart or Sam's Club. Definitely use that tool so that you pay the least amount when you go. Great question.
Awesome, thanks.
Welcome.
Hey, Kristen, we have a question from Mark, and would you mind, just so I can explain it better, would you mind scrolling back up to the medical plan design page?
Sorry for going really fast. There we go.
No, all good, Kristen. So Mark's basically asking, hey, when we say the word copay, when does that come into play? And so I just wanted to have the medical plans up so that we could really explain it. So as you'll see all the way to the left here, this HSA plan, this is what we call non-first dollar coverage, right? These copays that you'll see, these are after the deductible has been hit, right? You must meet that deductible before that copay of $30 to the PCP will apply. However, as you can see in the middle plan, the base plan, and the buy-up plan, those $2,000 and $1,000 deductible plans, you'll see that has some first dollar coverage where you can go to the PCP, the $20 copay will apply right away, right? So say you got your card on, I don't know, June, you got your card, and then June 10th you go to the PCP, that's a $20 copay.
Okay. Yeah, this is Mark. The reason I asked is because my current plan with Cigna, I think, is very similar to that first column, which is what I chose. And some of my doctors started charging me the deductible right away, even though I didn't think I'd met my deductible yet. And other doctors waited until I think I hit my deductible before they charged it. So I was trying to figure out what was I supposed to be charged or not, and when will I be charged. So it really is, you have to meet the deductible first, and then you do the copay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Problem.
any other questions? There's some good questions.
Hey,
Looks
this
like-
is Darcy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, is the formulary going to be posted somewhere?
Donna, I believe I provided you some flyers, and one of them was the formulary. Hopefully you were able to upload it to Rippling.
Yes, all the additional documents, the summary plans are under each specific plan, and then the additional documents, we could only put one summary under each plan. So everything else is under additional documents under insurance, but they're all in Rippling. And just FYI, when we're finished with the meeting, we're going to email to everybody these slides as well as the full benefit guide. I don't even remember how many pages it is, Kristen, probably like 35, I think. But there's a lot of information in there as well. We'll email that to everybody so you'll have that readily available for you.
Yep. All right, David, you had a question in the chat about the FSA. That's going to be your responsibility to make sure that you're not going over contributing over in a calendar year. However, that's something you're going to want to take offline and discuss with your tax accountant. ID cards will automatically be mailed out. You should have them in hand in your inbox, in your mailbox by June 1st. But again, we're going to make sure that everybody has access to them online in case they don't arrive in your mailbox at that time. Heather had a question if you can enroll in the FSA without enrolling in the medical insurance. Absolutely, yes. Renee, you had your hand up.
Yeah, the mail medication, is that going to change from Express Care?
From Express Scripts, yes, because you're changing insurance carriers. You'll go through CareFirst, and I believe it's through CVS.
Okay.
But you'll do it all through CareFirst. You're going to do it through your My account on CareFirst.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Roger, the network that you're going to select when looking for providers, there's a link in the benefit guide it's going to be very specific and tell you what you're going to look for, but it's going to be Blue Choice Advantage 2.0. And the 2.0, you want to make sure you choose the right one. Make sure it has the 2.0 at the end, because there's also Blue Choice Advantage, which won't be sophisticated enough to know the zip code that you're in. We want to make sure you type in the 2.0.
Denise, did your question get answered as well about the maintenance drugs? Kristen, she just asked who we go through for maintenance drugs.
It's through my. You're going to go through my account and go to the prescription drug vendor through CareFirst.
All right. Are there any other questions? Oh, Rama, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So maybe it's a very silly question. What's the difference between deductible and out-of-pocket maximum?
So deductible is the amount that you have to pay up front first before the insurance carrier will start paying a portion of your claims. Out-of-pocket maximum is what's going to cap your expenses for the plan year. So if you end up having a really catastrophic year, maybe you were in the hospital for several days, let's say you had open heart surgery, just using a really, really catastrophic condition, your expenses are going to be capped by that out-of-pocket maximum.
Okay, so deductible goes towards the out-of-pocket?
I'm sorry?
The deductible counts towards out-of-pocket?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, correct. Good question. Yeah, chat slowed down. Any other questions?
I have one. I don't know if you answered it, so please forgive me. You said the HSA is based on a calendar year. So if I opt for an HSA and I want to max it out because I anticipate medical needs, do I have to fund it by the end of the calendar year? So obviously it'd be much higher payment or much higher amount of money set aside.
So, Roscoe, it goes by, when I say calendar year, it means whatever if you already have an HSA account now and you've already
Yes,
funded money
Mhm.
into that HSA account, you're going to want to look to see how much you've actually put into your account since
Right.
January 1st, because
Right.
you cannot go over that. It was 8,750 for, hang on, let me just get there so I can give the exact amounts.
Yeah,
If you're in the family coverage, you can't, for the entire year, you can't contribute more than 8,750.
Right.
And look, that's between you and the IRS. We tell you these amounts. We want you to be aware of that, so you don't end up with a tax event when you go to file your taxes. But it's your responsibility to go and double check to see how much you've contributed from January until June 1st, when you make your election. Look, I do it every year. I just keep the same amount, or I increase my amount every year. But we just want to make sure you don't go over this in a calendar year. And if you feel that you're reaching that maximum for the year, reach out to you can go into Rippling and you can change your deductions and lower.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't have to use all those by the end of this calendar year. That's what
No.
Okay, good.
You don't have to. This is not a use it or lose it. The HSA is your funds. You can let them sit there and earn interest and roll over year, or you can use them.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Larry?
Yes, I just had a question on the life insurance. You said if you go over like the guaranteed 100,000 as far as additional life insurance you want to buy, there'd be evidence of insurability. Would that be something we take to our doctor to fill out?
No, it's a questionnaire that they're going to ask you questions,
Okay.
and then you submit it. It should be all virtually. The EFI should be online. There should be a link for you to complete and submit.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yep. Roger?
Yeah, is there still a extra amount that you can put in your HSA if you're a certain age?
Yes, if you're over 55, you can contribute an additional 1,000. Yep, a catch-up contribution.
That's still in play?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, we're getting close to end of time. I know this presentation was recorded. We've also provided a pre-recorded brain shark for the open enrollment presentation if you wanted to share it with a spouse, maybe with another coworker who couldn't make this meeting or the meeting on Thursday. So you have a couple different avenues where you can listen in. And again, please make sure you reach out to the Benefit Resource Center with any questions that you might have. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you out, not just during open enrollment, but throughout the year. Right. Well, thank you everyone for having both Nick and I here today to help you with the open enrollment. Make sure that you have all of your elections in by May 15th. And a reminder again, this is an active enrollment. So wishing everybody well. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Kristen and Nick. We really